Dude, find God! Find God!
What's weird to me about some of the shit that happens in this world is that everything can be fine between two people. Everything seems great. Nobody really has any problem with anybody, and life is moving along in a pace, whatever the fuck you want to say, but it's fine, right? And then all of a sudden, somebody is total shit. And right now, I'm talking about more than one person, but mostly Karmic, Karmicx. Now, Karmicx has been kind of dancing around like how he wants to handle me, I guess. Like, should I just let him live in obscurity? Stuff like that. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I guess I've been in obscurity for a long time and probably will remain that way. But everything about me sucks now. I mean, like if you've heard him, like this guy talked for about, I'm told 12, 13 hours about me, Tass, and a little bit about Doug, but mostly about me. And he owes me no apology. He says I'm really bad. Like there's nothing good about me. He said I was subhuman. So what is that when somebody goes from really no problem with somebody, everything's fine, to there's nothing good about this person, and it's called splitting. And I thought, why not just talk about, some psychiatric shit instead of, I don't know, just going through, firing back, whatever. Maybe this will be a helpful message for somebody, I mean, we can all see some stuff on the surface that goes on with Karmic that doesn't look very healthy. It says splitting is a term used in psychiatry to describe the inability to hold opposing thoughts, feelings, or beliefs. Some might say that a person who splits sees the world in terms of black or white, all or nothing. It's a distorted way of thinking in which the positive or negative attributes of a person or event are neither weighed nor cohesive. Again, it's a distorted way of thinking in which the positive or negative attributes of a person or event are neither weighed nor cohesive. Now, this is the same basically with, Felicia will kind of sometimes sort of begrudgingly say something that isn't terrible about me. And I think that she might be a different sort of, I don't know what's up with her. I really don't. But this is more about Karmic, but I do see some similarities there. This shit with Karmic is fascinating, and like I said, nothing happened between us. I mean, nothing. He started drinking and streaming, and we did start narrating on that a little bit after, particularly after he started talking about Tass, the mod here. So I don't know. That seems allowed to me. I don't think we said anything that was too damning or anything. We laughed, and it's the sort of thing people say about each other every day in this world. But I mean, it was already wild. So what we were commenting on was already wild. Anyway, so to get back to what Karmic's psychological issue is, because he sees me as 100% evil. Now, I hope that we can grant that isn't true. That can't be true. It's just not reasonable to think that, yeah, he never noticed it until something went wrong, and now I am Satan. And not through any particular thing it could name, just like, oh, he kicked me when I was down. He will stab you in the back. Well, what does that when was that done? What does that mean? So, okay. Back to the article about splitting. Common in those with borderline personality disorder, splitting is considered a defense mechanism by which people with BPD view others, events, or even themselves in all or nothing terms. Splitting allows them to readily discard things they have assigned as bad and to embrace things they consider good. So splitting, number one, it says splitting allows them to readily discard things they have assigned as bad and to embrace things they consider good, even if those things are harmful or risky. So yeah, it definitely splitting has enabled him to discard what's been assigned as bad, which is me and my show, and at times Tass too. He goes back and forth on Tass. And to embrace those things they consider good, even if those things are harmful or risky. And I won't go into what he's embracing that he considers good that's harmful or risky. Effects of splitting. Splitting can interfere with relationships and lead to intense and self-destructive behaviors. A person who splits will typically frame people or events in terms that are absolute, with no middle ground for discussion. Examples of splitting behavior may include opportunities can either have no risk or be a complete con. People can either be evil or crooked or angels and perfect. Which is kind of like, seemed like Tass was like an angel. I'm evil. Science, history, or news is either a complete fact or a complete lie. Things are either always or never. When things go wrong, a person will feel cheated, ruined, or screwed. That's something I noticed a lot of that language with Karmicx. Karmicx saying he felt that I had cheated him, that he had been cheated here, that the love word was used on him, even that I put Tass up to using the love word in order to fool him to super tip the show. That's not very realistic, is it? No, it's not. It's pretty absurd. Tass, hey, sell the sex on this guy, get him to super tip. I mean, it's just not really. It's not really something that should be considered as a possibility here, and obviously it's not true. And what makes splitting all the more confusing, it says, is that the belief can sometimes be ironclad or shift back and forth from one moment to the next. People who split are often seen to be overly dramatic or overwrought, especially when declaring that things have either completely fallen apart or completely turned around. So again, do you see this in Karmic? People who split are often seen to be overly dramatic or overwrought, especially when declaring that things have either completely fallen apart or completely turned around. It says such behavior can be exhausting to those around him. So I don't know if you're convinced yet, but to me, I think we can call this splitting behavior. I think it's quite safe to say Karmic is splitting from a psychological perspective. He is seeing things in terms of all good or all bad. He now sees me and this show as all bad. He feels he was cheated because things went wrong. It says when things go wrong, a person will feel cheated, ruined, or screwed, and he does. And he sees me as completely bad, evil, subhuman, even. Subhuman, he said. Now, I mean, there's no way that subhuman is a realistic assessment of me or this show or anything like that. Even I couldn't think of anybody in this vicinity who you would call subhuman. So and also, the overly dramatic, overwrought, especially when declaring that things have either completely. Just to continue the article here, by itself, splitting may seem almost commonplace, a behavior easily attributed to any number of individuals we know or maybe even ourselves. However, splitting in BPD is considered a consistent and distorted behavior, usually accompanied by other systems, such as these are symptoms that I'm about to read that accompany splitting in people who have borderline personality disorder or BPD. 1, acting out. It says acting without consideration to consequences. 2, denial, consciously ignoring a fact or reality. Emotional hypochondriasis. That's trying to get others to understand how severe your emotional pain is. I'll read that one again since I messed it up. Emotional hypochondriasis. That's trying to get others to understand how severe your emotional pain is. Omnipotence, the belief that you possess superiority in intelligence or power. Passive aggression, an indirect expression of hostility. Projection, assigning an undesirable emotion to someone else. Projective identification, denying your own feelings, projecting them onto someone else, and then behaving toward that person in a way that forces them to respond to you with the feelings you projected onto them. Wow. So, again, symptoms of borderline personality disorder. Acting out without consideration to consequences. I would say, yeah, like be drinking excessively while streaming without thinking, hey, I am going to have to, like, I guess, own this later. I'm going to have to answer to this later or whatever. Denial, consciously ignoring a fact or reality. Denial is like the way Karmicx can't watch videos of himself when he was drunk. He is in denial about what he said at that time. He can't stand it. He said he dies. He will not face it. He will not look at videos that he made while drinking. Emotional hypochondriasis. That is wild. Trying to get others to understand how severe your emotional pain is. And yeah, how many times has he referred to his pain? How many times has he referred to this? I was at my absolute lowest, and sort of the crying sounds and stuff. I never did see any tears, but I did see crying sounds or hear crying sounds a lot. See crying mannerisms and everything. Really trying to make everybody understand how badly he was hurt. This is why I kept wondering, what is it that's hurt here? I don't understand. What happened? It was never able to say. It's just trying to get others to understand how severe his emotional pain is. Omnipotence, the belief that you possess superiority in intelligence or power. Many times I've heard this. It stuck out one thing. I have more of whatever in my little finger than you have in your entire body. And, like all the more understanding that he has. And that scares you, doesn't it? Shit like that. Passive aggression. Obviously, that's been there. Projection. Pat Dixon would say so. Pat Dixon would disagree. I've seen these things on Twitter, assigning me an undesirable emotion, just assigning it to someone else. So I understand that I'm not a qualified mental health specialist or anything like that. So it's impossible for me to make a true diagnosis. But to me, all of these things are there. I would say he is BPD. I mean, you may disagree, but you cannot deny that all those symptoms are there. That's a fact. They are all factually there. Now, him having all the symptoms doesn't necessarily mean he has that. But in the situation, he certainly is behaving as if he has a borderline personality disorder.
Hit the follow button. Hit the like button.
A lot of Doom guys, a lot of Doom boys out there.
Fuck off, dude.